Hey, what's up, everybody? Jazzbro Gonzo here. Another episode of What's Next. Good Monday. Took Sunday off just to chill out, recharge the batteries. But of course, the stories don't take a holiday. Saw a little bit of DC Fandom over the weekend. Saw the trailers of The Batman, Robert Pattison, The Flash, Ezra, I'm Drunk Miller, and also the much anticipated rock-studded, see where I'm going, see how I use that, Black Adam. But I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. But first, this is on regarding Marvel and the Eternals. Let's take a look. This comes out of Bounding in the Comics. Eternals director Chloe Zhao says no point in including gay Phastos family if audience don't feel it. The Eternals. Coming out November 5th, and really there is no emphasis on excitement whatsoever in regarding to this movie. No one really cares. Marvel seems to think that the Eternals are going to kick off like Guardians. Nobody knew who the Guardians were. Guardians came out. Boom! Exploded. But because you had a star-studded cast, somewhat, but they all blended extremely well, led by one Chris Pratt. But sadly, they don't have a Chris Pratt in this movie, and amongst other things, this movie, in my opinion, is not going to do that well, but I'll go extensively a little bit later. Eternals director Chloe Zhao says no point including gay Phastos family if the audience doesn't feel it. Eternals director Chloe Zhao recently discussed the inclusion of gay Phastos family. Noted that there is actually no reason to include him and his family in the film if the audience doesn't care. She's right. Zoe spoke to IndieWire about the film and the press tour for the movie ramps up for its November 5th release. First, she admitted that Phastos had already been gay before she even signed on to the film's director. According to Zhao, introducing MCU's first openly gay superhero was already written into the story before she signed on as director. Yeah, the fact of the matter is that Phastos was never gay to begin with. But who the hell cares? Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige previously confirmed this in an interview in Variety back in April. When asked if Zhao had anything to do with all the gender swaps and inclusion and diversity, make sure those boxes are checked. Well, the notion of switching up the gender, sexualities, and ethnicity of the characters from the comics was baked in initially and was part of what Nate Moore was really advocating for in moving Eternals to the top of the list for us to start working on. Yeah, nice try. Speaking specifically to Phastos' role in the film, Zhao told IndieWire the way Phastos' story plays out in the film is that he's someone who only sees humanity as a whole and believes that technology is going to solve the problem. Obviously, he has lost faith in some very tough things that we've done. She continues, and then he had to stop and look at us as a whole, looking at one person he falls in love with, one child, to regain the face of humanity. It's like us turning on the news and thinking it's completely hopeless and then going home, looking at our lover, our child, and going like, well, actually this is what it's this is worth fighting for. Zhao then detailed the audience doesn't care about Phastos and his family. There was no real reason for them to be in the movie. Well, they don't care about the movie as an overall, but just saying. She explained, to position that family in the specific situation and to have that moment feel authentic and real, the audience has to feel it to care. Otherwise, there's no point of putting it on screen because they don't feel it on both. This comes out of Cosmic Book News. The Flash rumored to reboot Real Batman. DCEU. As you can see there, Affleck, Keaton, considered both the ultimate Batmans. Some people would say, you know what, you need to throw Christian Bale in the mix. I'm one of them. Following a recent teaser, it claimed that the Flash movie will reboot not only Batman, but the DCEU. According to Twitter user viewer Anon, following the Batgirl directors stating the, quote, real Batman will appear in their Batgirl movie, viewer Anon claims that the real Batman referred to as Michael Keaton, with the Twitter adding that the end of the Flash movie will merge the DCEU with Tim Burton's universe, and Michael Keaton will be Batman. And you can see there that is Ezra Miller to the center, Ezra Miller to the left, and of course the supposed Supergirl, more like cringe, off to your right. Woof. Yikes. The Flash, DCEU reboot in the works, but where would it go? Back in 2019 at San Diego Comic-Con, DC insiders filled me in with some sort of soft DCEU reboot was in the works, involving Matt Reeves and Robert Pattison, scrawny Batman, J.J. Abrams, destroyer of franchises, new Superman. Don't make me start talking about that monstrosity, and James Gunn. But it could be possible that things changed, that the DCEU reboot will continue to happen down the road, slowly merging and replacing the characters. Some fans are hoping that with the Discover Warner Media merger, that Discovery will take a liking to the Snyderverse and keep Affleck on as Batman and return Zack Snyder to the DCEU in some form. There were rumors and speculation a while ago that Zack would continue his DCEU on HBO Max as part of the multiverse, but it all just looks like to be a rumor as of now. Just a hunch, but I'm guessing, hoping the Flash will be recast and Ezra Miller will also be out. Part 1, regarding the Eternals. To me, I have zero interest. I've said this prior in a few videos way back. I've heard of them. I read some about them, but when it comes to this movie form, yeah, nothing. Same thing with Shang-Chi. Nothing against Shang-Chi, but after this movie roared out of the gate, and everybody said, oh my gosh, this movie's got to break records. The only record it broke was, what was it, Halloween 7, I think it was. I think it was Halloween 7 in 2017 as the #1 film of the Labor Day weekend, which is not saying much. But when it came to the overall production of the film, it really wasn't that good, and it turned out to be the sister was the hero, while Shang-Chi just stood in the background as a lost puppy. But, it doesn't matter if you have a gay family, a gay Fastos. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. People want to see good storylines with great characters. To me, this is not the Guardians. People think this is going to take off like the Guardians. It's not. It's not. Regarding the reboot of Batman, the ECU think that the Flash is going to be the Flashpoint in regards to the reboot. Get rid of Ezra Miller. Sorry. You got a guy who gets drunk. He's intoxicated. He grabs a girl. He choke slams a girl, and it's called on video. And yet the man still has his job? Absolutely not. He should have been fired. He should have been fired, and he should have brought in Grant Gustin. Period. End of story. That's the only way. That's the only way that Flash was ever going to take hold. And of course, they had to do a somewhat Flashpoint to get Keaton, Affleck involved. They had to. The movie's riding on these two characters and their scenes in the movie. Because as sure as hell, it's not because of Ezra Miller. Because we saw how great he was in the Snyderverse. But, anywho, I had interest had they brought in Grant Gustin, but I have zero interest in this, and sad because I read the comic. I love the comic. I've got the animated version at home. Great animated version. And DC has just mastered superhero animation, should I say. That's not anime. Yeah. Outside of Black Adam, not much interest. And from what I've heard about the 3 hours of DC's fandom by a multitude of those who were there and who podcast, yeah, turned out to be garbage fest. There you go. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Borganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it, hit the notification bell so you never miss a thing. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.